Ethan Cole looked at the glowing holographic notification hovering in the corner of his apartment. It was small, bright, and cheerful, the kind of message that seemed harmless at first glance. Yet, somehow, it carried the weight of something bigger. Parent night at Lyra's school. Tomorrow, 6 p.m. Attendance recommended. He rubbed his eyes and let out a long sigh. Parent night. The thought made his chest tighten a little. Ethan had never been the school parent type. He wasn't the dad who helped with science fairs or volunteered for field trips. Between his full-time job at the Space Exploration Lab and caring for his 10-year-old daughter Lyra, he had barely enough time to breathe, let alone attend fancy school events. But he also knew this was important. Lyra, his bright and curious little girl, had been talking about parent night for weeks. She was eager to show off her projects, to point out the holographic displays she loved, and maybe, just maybe, to make her dad proud in front of her teachers. "Okay, Ethan," he muttered to himself, straightening his posture. "You can do this." The next evening, he found himself standing outside the school gates, a sleek, futuristic building that shimmered under the city lights. Its design was unlike anything he'd ever seen. Smooth, metallic curves reflected the glow of hovering drones delivering books and supplies. Large glass panels revealed classrooms filled with holographic screens and children interacting with tiny robotic assistants. Ethan adjusted his jacket and held Lyra's hand tightly. "Ready, Lee?" he asked. Lyra nodded eagerly, her eyes sparkling behind her glasses. "Yes. Dad, you're gonna love this. The school is showing our new AI programs tonight." Ethan smiled, feeling a little lighter. Lyra's excitement was contagious, and for a moment, he forgot the nervous knot in his stomach. As they entered, the lobby welcomed them with soft blue lights. Holographic guides floated gently, showing parents to their assigned seats. Students were busy presenting projects, explaining how AI helpers could tailor learning for each child. Ethan watched in awe as a small drone hovered near a boy, gently correcting his handwriting by projecting virtual lines on his notebook. "Wow," Ethan whispered. "This is really something." Lyra squeezed his hand. "Told you, Dad. You have to see my station first." Following Lyra, Ethan wandered through the first few demonstrations. Children were working with AI-driven science experiments, interactive storytelling modules, and virtual field trips to planets light years away. He was impressed and maybe just a little jealous. He wished he had this kind of technology when he was a child. "Dad, look!" Lyra exclaimed, pulling him toward her station. She stood proudly next to a holographic model of the solar system, her fingers moving swiftly to rotate planets and display orbit paths. Ethan couldn't help but grin. "Ly, this is amazing. You built all this?" Lyra beamed. "Well, with a little help from the AI, but mostly me." As he marveled at the project, Ethan's eyes scanned the crowd of parents, teachers, and staff. Everyone seemed to be enjoying themselves, chatting politely, or admiring the technology. Then, out of the corner of his eye, he noticed a figure approaching the stage. Ethan blinked. He thought his eyes were playing tricks on him. The woman, moving with calm confidence, wearing a tailored suit that shimmered subtly under the lights, looked familiar. More than familiar. His heart skipped a beat. Her hair, the way she carried herself, the faint smile that hinted at both kindness and intelligence. He froze. It couldn't be, but it was. Leora Vallon, Ethan's first love. Years ago, they had been inseparable. Late night, stargazing on rooftops, whispered dreams about space and adventure. Laughter echoing under the summer skies. Life had separated them, as life often does, and Ethan had never expected to see her again. Certainly not here, in this sleek, futuristic school, standing as the CEO of the very company that designed the AI systems now guiding his daughter's education. Leora's eyes found his, and for a heartbeat, time seemed to stop. Memories rushed back. Her bright laugh, the way she believed in him, the plans they had made together, before the world pulled them apart. Ethan's throat tightened. He hadn't realized how much he had missed her. Lyra tugged at his hand. "Dad. Dad?" He blinked and looked down. His daughter was smiling up at him, holding a small tablet showing the AI demonstration she had prepared. "Sorry, Lai," he said, shaking his head. "Just surprised." Lyra tilted her head curiously. "Oh, okay. But come on, Dad. You have to see this." Ethan forced a smile, following her through the rest of the exhibit. But he couldn't take his eyes off Leora. She moved across the room with ease, addressing teachers, speaking confidently about the AI programs, her voice clear and engaging. Every word, every gesture reminded Ethan why he had fallen for her in the first place. She was brilliant, dedicated, and somehow still human in a world increasingly dominated by machines. The evening continued, and Ethan found himself pulled deeper into the event. The school's AI programs were incredible. He watched as children interacted with holographic mentors, solving complex problems with guidance tailored to their individual strengths. He marveled at the way technology was helping to nurture curiosity, creativity, and intelligence traits that he believed defined humanity at its best. As Lyra presented her project to a small group of parents, Ethan listened proudly. "That's my girl," he whispered, feeling a surge of warmth. Lyra was confident, intelligent, and kind, a reflection of both of them. And yet, seeing Leora made him realize how much of his own passion and drive had been inspired by her in the past. Finally, there was a pause in the event. Parents gathered near the stage as Leora stepped forward to give a short speech. Her voice carried effortlessly across the room. "Welcome, everyone," she began. "Tonight, you are not just seeing what your children are capable of. You are witnessing a glimpse of the future. A future where technology and humanity work together to unlock the best in each of us. Our AI programs are designed to help every child grow, explore, and thrive, while preserving what makes them truly human: curiosity, creativity, and compassion." Ethan felt a shiver run down his spine. It wasn't just her words, it was her presence. She radiated a calm authority that drew people in, inspiring trust and admiration. He realized she hadn't just become a brilliant CEO. She had become someone who could guide humanity toward its best future. A person who could lead with both intelligence and heart. When her gaze met his again, Ethan felt a mixture of awe and nervousness. How could life bring them together like this, in such an unexpected, almost impossible way? The announcement ended, and the crowd began to disperse toward refreshments and demonstrations. Ethan took a deep breath, letting the excitement of the evening wash over him. He glanced at Lyra, who was busy explaining her project to another parent, and then back at Leora, who was now talking with a teacher about new curriculum plans. For the first time in years, Ethan felt a flicker of hope that life could surprise him, hope that the past might not be completely gone, and hope that maybe, just maybe, there was a chance for connections to be rekindled in the most unexpected ways. And as the soft hum of holographic lights filled the room, Ethan realized that this parent night wasn't just about his daughter or the school's AI programs. It was about beginnings, new possibilities, new connections, and the reminder that even in a vast universe, the paths of the people we care about can cross again when we least expect it. He didn't know what the future held, but he knew one thing. Seeing Leora again had reminded him that some sparks never truly die. And tonight, one of those sparks had been reignited. The next morning, Ethan woke to the soft glow of sunlight streaming through Lyra's bedroom window. She was still asleep, curled up with her favorite stuffed alien toy. The events of parent night replayed in his mind like a vivid hologram. Leora Valen, CEO, visionary, and the girl he had loved so deeply years ago. Ethan poured himself a cup of coffee, staring out at the city skyline from his apartment balcony. The urban spires glinted in the morning sun, and sleek transport drones hummed softly in the air. He loved the city, loved the possibilities it promised, but today, it all felt secondary. His thoughts kept returning to Leora, the way she had smiled at him, the spark in her eyes, and the calm authority she carried so effortlessly. He shook his head. Focus, Ethan. You have work to do. At the space lab, he immersed himself in his projects, yet even surrounded by advanced machinery and futuristic experiments. His mind wandered back to Leora. He wondered how life had shaped her, how she had become the person standing confidently at the school the night before. And most of all, he wondered if she remembered him, if she remembered the boy who had once dreamed of exploring the stars at her side. Meanwhile, Lyra bounded into the kitchen, her hair messy, her uniform half on, and her eyes sparkling. "Dad! Guess what?" she said, nearly tripping over the rug as she held up a small tablet. "The school wants me to help with a new AI project for other kids. They said my ideas from parent night were amazing." Ethan smiled, ruffling her hair. "That's my girl. I'm proud of you, Lyra's excitement was contagious, and for a moment, Ethan forgot his inner turmoil. She chattered on about her plans, how she wanted to improve the AI modules, and how she thought they could make learning even more fun. Listening to her, Ethan realized just how much hope and creativity the next generation carried, and for the first time that morning, he felt a quiet certainty. He wanted to be part of her world, and maybe, somehow, part of Leora's world too. Later that afternoon, Ethan received a message from Leora. It was brief, professional, yet unmistakably familiar. "Ethan, I hope this message finds you well. I wanted to personally thank you for attending parent night. Your daughter is remarkable, curious, intelligent, and kind. I'd love to discuss some ideas regarding AI development and child education. Would you be available for a short meeting tomorrow?" Ethan's heart raced. He read the message 3 times before replying. His fingers trembled slightly as he typed, "Thank you, Leora. I'd be happy to meet. Tomorrow works perfectly." He stared at the screen, feeling a mix of excitement and nerves. The last time he had been this nervous around her, they had been teenagers, dreaming of the stars. Now, they were adults, their lives shaped by experiences, challenges, and choices. And yet, despite the years, he felt the same pull toward her, the same fascination, the same respect, the same deep connection. The following day, Ethan arrived at the sleek corporate headquarters where Leora's company had developed the AI systems for the school. The building itself was a marvel of modern design, a blend of transparent materials and soft light that gave it an almost ethereal presence. Drones floated silently, carrying documents, refreshments, and small devices, weaving through the open spaces like mechanical butterflies. Leora greeted him at the entrance. She wore a simple yet elegant suit, her hair neatly tied back, and a warm smile that made the room feel instantly brighter. "Ethan," she said, her voice carrying the same gentle confidence he remembered. "Thank you for coming." "Of course," Ethan replied, offering a small smile. "It's nice to see you again, Leora." She gestured toward a nearby conference room. "Shall we sit? I'd love to hear your thoughts on some of our ideas for the school AI programs." Inside the conference room, the walls were lined with holographic displays, each one showcasing projects, designs, and data streams. Ethan marveled at the clarity and sophistication of the technology. Yet, as impressive as it was the human vision behind it that truly captivated him, and that human was Leora. She began explaining the latest AI developments, how they were creating adaptive learning experiences for children, and the ways the system could nurture creativity, problem-solving, and emotional intelligence. Her words were precise yet inspiring, a perfect blend of technical mastery and human insight. Ethan listened intently, occasionally asking questions or suggesting improvements. As they spoke, he realized something remarkable. Their minds still worked in sync. Where Leora saw data and patterns, Ethan saw potential and practical solutions. Together, they formed a quiet rhythm, a shared understanding born from years apart but never forgotten. At one point, Leora paused and looked at him thoughtfully. "You've always had a way of seeing possibilities others overlook," she said softly. "It's good to have you back in this kind of environment, Ethan. You remind me why I started working on these AI programs in the first place. Ethan felt a warmth spread through him. He had missed this, the encouragement, the recognition, the sense of shared purpose. I could say the same about you, he replied. You've built something incredible here, Leora. And it's inspiring. Their conversation flowed easily, moving from technical discussions to shared memories. Leora mentioned their old rooftop stargazing sessions, the nights they spent planning adventures among the stars, and the dreams they had once shared. Ethan laughed, a little self-conscious, but also relieved. It was comforting to know that some part of their bond remained, untouched by time or distance. As the meeting drew to a close, Leora leaned back in her chair and smiled. You know, Ethan, sometimes life surprises us in ways we never expect. Seeing you last night reminded me that the people who shape our lives don't always stay in the past. Sometimes, they come back at exactly the right time. Ethan's heart skipped a beat. He didn't know if she meant their shared history, the work they were doing, or something more. But he knew one thing. He didn't want this connection to fade again. Outside the conference room, Ethan and Leora watched the city below. Flying vehicles moved like synchronized dancers, and the setting sun painted the sky in shades of pink and gold. For a moment, the world seemed still, as if holding its breath, allowing them to simply exist in the quiet beauty of the evening. Lyra's voice came to mind, full of excitement and wonder. Ethan realized that she had unknowingly created this bridge between him and Leora. Their daughter's curiosity, intelligence, and enthusiasm had brought them together again. And suddenly, Ethan saw the possibilities not just for their children, but for themselves. When it was time to leave, Leora gave him a small, knowing smile. Tomorrow, we continue this, she said. I'd like to show you something special. A project I think you'll find very human. Ethan left the building with a sense of anticipation he hadn't felt in years. The city lights glimmered as he walked home, the cool evening air brushing against his face. He thought of Lyra, asleep in her room, dreaming of worlds far beyond their own, and of Leora, standing confidently at the forefront of innovation. He realized that the world was full of unexpected opportunities to reconnect, to grow, and to discover new horizons. And for the first time in a long while, Ethan felt ready to embrace them. That night, as he tucked Lyra into bed, she whispered, "Dad, do you think I can really help make AI better?" Ethan smiled, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "Absolutely, Ly. And maybe, we can even do it together." She grinned sleepily and drifted off, dreaming of stars and possibilities. Ethan watched her for a moment, feeling a profound sense of gratitude. His daughter, his first love, and the future all intertwined in ways he could never have imagined. And as he finally lay down to sleep himself, he knew one thing with certainty. Life had a way of bringing the right people together at the right time. And maybe, just maybe, the universe had plans for him that were far bigger than he had ever dared to dream. The next morning, Ethan awoke to the sound of Lyra chattering excitedly in the kitchen. Sunlight streamed through the apartment windows, casting long shadows over the breakfast table. She was showing him a small, holographic model she had created of a new learning AI, complete with colorful, interactive elements and tiny animated guides. "Look, Dad. I added little helpers to teach math and science," she said, her voice full of pride. "They can answer questions and explain things if the kids don't understand. Isn't it cool?" Ethan smiled, genuinely impressed. "It's amazing, Ly. I think your teachers are going to love this." Lyra beamed. "You'll see. Oh, and Mom would have been proud too." Ethan felt a gentle pang in his chest, but pushed it aside. Today wasn't about loss. It was about possibilities. And he had a feeling that possibilities were exactly what awaited him, not just for Lyra, but for himself too. Later that morning, Ethan headed to the corporate headquarters where Leora had arranged to show him a special project. The building, sleek and futuristic, always made him pause. Every corner hummed softly with AI-driven assistants, hovering drones, and glowing displays. But today, he barely noticed the technology. His mind kept wandering to Leora, to the calm determination in her gaze, the warmth in her smile, and the effortless confidence she exuded. When he entered the conference room, she was already there, standing beside a large table displaying several holographic models. She looked up, her eyes lighting with recognition and subtle amusement. "Ethan," she said, smiling, "good to see you again. I hope you slept well." "I did," he replied, feeling a little shy. "Busy, as always," she said, gesturing toward the holograms. "But this I wanted to share with you." Ethan leaned forward, intrigued. The holographic display revealed a classroom simulation, where children were interacting with AI guides in a fully immersive learning environment. Each student had a unique assistant that adapted in real time to their interests, skills, and emotional state. The AI wasn't just teaching facts, it was nurturing creativity, empathy, and problem-solving. "This is incredible," Ethan said, his eyes wide. "It's..." "Exactly," Leora said softly. "Our goal isn't just to teach children facts. It's to help them grow as thinkers, creators, and compassionate humans. And I think your perspective, grounded in engineering and problem-solving, can help us make this even better." Ethan felt a surge of pride. Leora had always believed in him, even when he doubted himself. And now, years later, she was inviting him to contribute again, not as a student, not as a junior engineer, but as an equal. Someone whose insights mattered. They spent the morning analyzing the AI systems, exchanging ideas, and refining simulations. Ethan suggested improvements that could make the AI respond more naturally to children's curiosity. Leora listened attentively, nodding and occasionally adjusting the holographic models in real time. At one point, she leaned closer, pointing at a floating display. "If we adjust the learning algorithm here, the AI can better detect when a child is struggling emotionally, not just academically. It can then offer encouragement tailored to their personality." Ethan watched her, amazed. She wasn't just brilliant. She was deeply compassionate. Even in a room filled with technology and data, her focus remained human, on the children, their growth, and the potential for positive impact. "You always had this knack for seeing the bigger picture," she said quietly, almost to herself. "You remember how we used to dream about designing tools for exploring the stars? You always thought about how people could benefit, not just the machines." Ethan felt a flutter in his chest. Hearing her say this reminded him of their teenage years, the nights on rooftops, the stars above, the endless conversations about discovery, creativity, and the future. He laughed softly. "Some things never change, huh?" "No," Leora replied, smiling warmly. "Some things are too important to change." The room fell into a comfortable silence. Ethan realized that despite the years and the distance, their connection was still alive. It wasn't just nostalgia. It was real, present, and powerful. Later, they moved to a smaller demonstration area where Leora had set up a test of the AI for Lyra's age group. The simulation projected a vibrant virtual world, complete with floating islands, animated creatures, and interactive learning stations. Children could explore freely, guided by their AI helpers. "Watch this," Leora said, activating the simulation. A small avatar representing Lyra appeared on one of the floating islands. It began interacting with the AI, asking questions, solving puzzles, and discovering hidden surprises. Ethan felt a swell of pride. "Lyra would love this," he said, grinning. "She's always full of questions." "She'd probably spend all day exploring," Leora chuckled. "That's the idea. And with your input, we can make sure that children like her not only learn, but also stay curious and creative. That's what education should do. Foster a love of learning, not just information." For hours, they collaborated, refining the AI's responses, testing new interactive scenarios, and brainstorming ways to make the system more human-centered. Their professional synergy was remarkable, two minds working seamlessly together, complementing each other's strengths, and inspiring new ideas at every turn. During a short break, Leora offered Ethan a cup of steaming tea. He accepted it gratefully, sitting near the window and watching the city below. "You know," Leora said, breaking the comfortable silence. It's strange. Seeing you again, it's like no time has passed. And yet, everything has changed. You've grown, I've grown, and somehow we still understand each other. Ethan met her gaze, feeling a mix of emotions, nostalgia, admiration, and something deeper he didn't quite want to name yet. I know what you mean, he said. It's like, some bonds don't fade, no matter how much time passes. They wait for the right moment to resurface. Leora smiled softly. Exactly. The afternoon passed quickly. As the sun dipped lower, casting golden light into the room, Ethan realized he hadn't felt this alive in years. The combination of innovation, collaboration, and connection was invigorating. And seeing Leora, not as a memory, but as a brilliant, inspiring adult, reminded him that life was full of second chances. Before leaving, Leora handed him a small tablet containing the refined simulation they had worked on together. For Lyra, she said. And maybe for you too. Ethan accepted it, feeling a warmth spread through him. Thank you, Leora. This means a lot. It should, she said with a playful smile. After all, you were part of creating it. As he walked home, the city lights beginning to sparkle in the twilight, Ethan felt a renewed sense of purpose. Lyra would see this new AI simulation, and he would be part of guiding her education in ways he had never imagined. And perhaps, if life allowed, he could explore new connections with Leora. A partnership built not just on the past, but on shared visions for the future. When he returned home, Lyra was waiting eagerly by the window. Dad, you're back. Did you see what I made today? Ethan handed her the tablet. I did. And guess what? We worked on something together today. You're going to love it. Lyra's eyes widened as she explored the simulation, her laughter filling the room. Ethan watched her, feeling a sense of pride and wonder. She was the bridge between him and Leora, between past dreams and present possibilities. As Lyra drifted off to sleep that night, Ethan sat quietly in the living room, reflecting on the day. The world was vast, filled with technology, challenges, and endless opportunities. Yet, it was the human connections, the sparks of understanding, the shared passions, and the bonds of trust that made life truly meaningful. And for the first time in a long while, Ethan felt the certainty that some connections, some sparks, never truly fade. They wait patiently, quietly until the right moment to shine again. Looking out the window at the stars beginning to twinkle in the night sky, Ethan whispered softly, "Some sparks really do last forever." And somewhere across the city, Leora was doing the same, her thoughts wandering to a man who had once dreamed with her under the same stars, a man who now, quietly but surely, was becoming part of her present again. The next morning, Ethan awoke with a sense of anticipation. Today, he would return to the corporate headquarters to continue his work with Leora. But this time, it wasn't just about refining simulations or discussing ideas. There was a challenge waiting for them, one that would test their skills, creativity, and teamwork. Lyra bounded into the kitchen, still half asleep, but full of energy. "Dad, are you going back to see Leora today? I can't wait to hear what you two are working on." Ethan smiled, ruffling her hair. "Yes, Ly. But I think this project is going to be even more exciting than last time. You'll be the first to see it once it's ready." "Oh," Lyra's eyes sparkled with curiosity. "Can I help?" Ethan laughed softly. "Of course. You already help just by giving ideas. That counts too." At the corporate headquarters, Ethan was greeted by Leora, who seemed unusually focused but excited. "Good morning, Ethan," she said, her eyes lighting up when she saw him. "We've encountered a challenge with the new AI module for Lyra's age group. I think you're the perfect person to help solve it." Ethan followed her to the simulation lab, where a large holographic display showed an interactive learning environment designed to teach critical thinking and problem-solving. However, the AI was struggling to adapt to certain scenarios. When a child attempted to solve a puzzle creatively in a way the AI had not anticipated, the system became confused, and failed to provide helpful guidance. "This is interesting," Ethan said, examining the holographic flowcharts. "The AI is good at structured learning, but it doesn't handle unpredictable thinking very well. It's like it can teach rules, but it struggles with imagination." Leora nodded. "Exactly. And imagination is exactly what we want to encourage. Kids like Lyra need AI that can adapt, learn, and respond in real time, not just follow pre-programmed rules." Ethan leaned over the display. "What if we create a secondary feedback loop? One that tracks the child's decisions and uses them to adjust future interactions. It would allow the AI to learn from unpredictable actions instead of being confused by them." Leora's eyes widened. "Yes, that could work. We could integrate emotional and logical responses to better support creative problem-solving." For hours, they worked side by side, designing a new algorithm that could understand not only right or wrong answers but the reasoning behind a child's actions. Ethan suggested ways to optimize the processing speed, while Leora refined the AI's behavioral models. Their collaboration was seamless, the kind of synergy that comes from mutual respect, trust, and shared vision. As they tested their improvements, the AI responded beautifully. When a simulated child tried an unusual approach to a puzzle, the system recognized the logic and provided encouragement, guiding the student while still allowing creative freedom. The virtual environment became lively and engaging, filled with interactive elements that reacted dynamically to the child's choices. "This is amazing," Ethan said, stepping back and watching the simulation. "It's not just teaching facts anymore. It's teaching kids to think, to explore, and to believe in their own ideas." Leora smiled, a quiet satisfaction in her expression. "That's exactly what we wanted. And I couldn't have done it without you." Ethan felt a warm sense of pride, not just for solving the technical problem, but for the opportunity to work with someone who inspired him, who reminded him of the power of human creativity combined with technology. During a short break, they walked to the observation deck overlooking the city. The sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple, and Ethan felt a deep sense of calm. "You know," Leora said softly, "I never expected to meet someone from my past and find that we still work so well together. It's rare, I think." Ethan smiled. "It's more than rare. It's a reminder that the right people come into your life at the right time. We just happen to meet again when it matters most." Leora laughed lightly. "You sound like you've been reading one of those old Earth novels." "Maybe I have," Ethan said, shrugging. "Or maybe life just gives you stories that are better than any book." Their laughter echoed across the deck, blending with the hum of drones and the soft glow of city lights. For a moment, Ethan forgot about deadlines, challenges, and responsibilities. He simply enjoyed the presence of someone who had once been a central part of his life and now felt like an essential part of his present. Returning to the lab, they continued refining the AI, adding playful elements to encourage curiosity. Ethan suggested that the AI could provide small, unexpected surprises, hidden virtual treasures, interesting facts, or mini-challenges that reward creative thinking. Leora immediately embraced the idea, tweaking the system so that these surprises were personalized for each child. As they watched the simulation respond to these changes, they noticed something remarkable. The virtual child avatars were learning faster, engaging more deeply, and showing signs of independent thinking. The AI was no longer a tool that simply taught. It had become a partner in discovery, enhancing both the child's skills and confidence. Ethan turned to Leora, his eyes reflecting excitement. "It's like the AI is becoming more human, not just in intelligence, but in understanding, creativity, and empathy." Leora nodded. "That's the goal. To create technology that enhances what makes us human, not replace it. And seeing this work with your help, it's inspiring." Their collaboration continued late into the evening. The lab lights dimmed, and the soft glow of holograms filled the room. Ethan and Leora were focused, energized, and connected not just by the project, but by a shared mission to make a positive difference in the world. Finally, as the city outside twinkled with lights and movement, Leora leaned back in her chair. "We did it," she said softly. "The system is ready for a full test with real students." Ethan felt a sense of accomplishment he hadn't experienced in years. "We did more than that. We've created something that can help children grow in ways we could only dream of when we were kids." Leora smiled, her eyes meeting his. "And it's proof that human creativity, collaboration, and care are still the most important parts of progress. Technology can enhance it, but it can't replace it." Too, Ethan felt a deep warmth in his chest. She was right. The project, the collaboration, and even their reunion were a reminder of what humanity could achieve when people worked together, trusted each other, and believed in the potential of others, especially children. As he left the headquarters that night, Ethan felt a renewed sense of purpose. Lyra's excitement and curiosity had been the spark that brought him and Leora together. Now, their shared mission had grown beyond personal connections, extending into the lives of children who would benefit from their work. Walking home, he thought about Lyra sleeping peacefully in her room, dreaming of discoveries and adventures. He thought about Leora, her vision, and the inspiration she had brought back into his life. And he realized that life, with all its challenges and surprises, was full of opportunities for connection, growth, and impact. When Ethan arrived home, Lyra was waiting by the window, eager to hear about his day. He handed her the tablet containing the updated AI simulation. "Look, Lee," he said, smiling. "We did something amazing today. And it's just the beginning." Her eyes widened with wonder as she explored the interactive environment. "Wow, Dad, this is incredible. I can't wait to show my friends." Ethan watched her, feeling a sense of fulfillment and hope. She was the bridge between past and present, between dreams and reality. And in that moment, he understood something deeply important. The future wasn't just about technology, innovation, or success. It was about nurturing curiosity, creativity, and compassion, values that would guide humanity forward. As the night settled in, Ethan and Lyra stood by the window, gazing at the stars above. Somewhere across the city, Leora was likely doing the same, thinking about their shared work and the possibilities that lay ahead. Ethan whispered softly, almost to himself, "Some missions are bigger than us, but with the right people, they can change everything." And for the first time in years, he felt certain that life had brought him, Leora, and Lyra together, not just by chance, but for a purpose that could inspire generations. The morning sun poured gently through the windows of Ethan's apartment, painting Lyra's room in warm, golden light. She was already awake, bouncing on her bed with a mix of excitement and impatience. Today was special. The AI simulation they had refined with Leora was ready for a full test with students at Lyra's school, and Ethan could feel a sense of anticipation in the air. "Dad, are we going today? Are we showing the simulation?" Lyra asked, her eyes shining. Ethan laughed softly, feeling a wave of pride and affection. "Yes, Ly. Today, your work and ours will be shared with everyone. Are you ready?" Lyra nodded enthusiastically. "I've been ready since yesterday." At the school, the environment buzzed with energy. Students, teachers, and parents moved through the halls filled with interactive holographic displays and learning modules. The AI simulation now stood as the centerpiece. A glowing, immersive world where children could explore, experiment, and learn with freedom and creativity. Ethan and Leora entered together, their presence drawing curious glances from both children and staff. Leora greeted the head teacher, coordinated with AI assistants, and checked the system's readiness with calm precision. Ethan watched her work, admiring the balance of brilliance and compassion she brought to every interaction. It reminded him why he had always trusted her judgment and why he had always respected her. Lyra led her father to a demonstration area, eager to show him what she had been working on in the classroom. As they walked, Ethan noticed parents observing the AI simulations, smiling as they watched the children engage, solve problems, and explore their creativity freely. The system was working exactly as they had envisioned, encouraging curiosity, promoting independent thinking, and fostering human qualities that no machine alone could achieve. Once in place, Leora addressed the small audience of parents and students. "Today, you will see a new approach to learning," she said, her voice calm yet commanding attention. "Our AI program is designed to respond to each child's unique way of thinking. It doesn't just teach, it learns with them, guiding, encouraging, and inspiring them to reach their full potential." Ethan watched her, captivated. Even now, she radiated a warmth and authority that made everyone pay attention. Her passion was infectious, and it reminded him why he had fallen for her so many years ago. But this time, it wasn't just about personal attraction. It was about shared purpose, shaping the future of learning, human potential, and curiosity. Lyra approached the system confidently, showing other children how to interact with the simulation. She explained the virtual helpers, the puzzles, and the surprises they would encounter. Ethan felt a sense of pride that was almost overwhelming. Watching his daughter guide and inspire her peers was one of the most fulfilling moments of his life. The demonstration began. Students entered the simulation, each accompanied by an AI helper tailored to their personality and learning style. As they navigated challenges, explored virtual landscapes, and solved creative puzzles, the AI responded dynamically, encouraging, adjusting, and even celebrating the students' successes. Ethan was amazed. "It's incredible," he whispered to Leora. "Look at how engaged they are. They're thinking, experimenting, and enjoying it at the same time." Leora smiled, watching the students. "That's the beauty of combining technology with humanity. The AI amplifies curiosity, but the human element, guidance, encouragement, and creativity is what makes it meaningful." Throughout the day, Ethan and Leora worked together, helping students and troubleshooting minor issues in real time. Their collaboration was seamless, almost intuitive. It was clear that the connection they had rediscovered was not only personal but professional, and that together they could achieve remarkable things. At one point, Ethan noticed a young girl struggling with a virtual puzzle. The AI hesitated, unsure of how to respond. Without thinking, Ethan stepped forward, gently encouraging her, helping her think through the challenge. Simultaneously, Leora adjusted the AI's parameters so it could learn from the child's creative approach. In an instant, the simulation adapted, and the girl's face lit up with joy as she solved the puzzle on her own. "That's amazing," Ethan said, turning to Leora. "The AI is learning, not just teaching." "Yes," she replied, her eyes shining. "It's responding to humanity, not replacing it. That's the real future, people and technology growing together." As the day went on, more students explored the simulation, each one reacting in unique ways. Ethan and Leora watched them, sometimes offering guidance, sometimes letting the AI assist independently. With every interaction, they saw proof of what they had built. A system that nurtured curiosity, creativity, and the very human desire to explore and learn. During a quiet moment, they stepped onto the observation deck overlooking the city. The sun was beginning to set, casting golden light across the skyline. Ethan felt a sense of calm wash over him, mixed with awe and gratitude. "You know," he said softly, "I never imagined something like this. Not just the AI, but all of this. The kids, the school, and us." Leora turned to him, her gaze steady and warm. "Sometimes life brings people together again, not by chance, but because the timing is right. We have a chance to make a real difference together." Ethan felt a deep warmth in his chest. "I want that," he said. "For the kids, for Lyra, and for us." She smiled, a mixture of relief and happiness in her expression. "Me too." They returned to the demonstration area, where Lyra had gathered a group of children for one final activity. She beamed at her father. "Dad, watch this. I designed a special surprise for everyone." The children followed Lyra's instructions, navigating the simulation and discovering hidden treasures, fun challenges, and encouraging messages from their AI helpers. The room buzzed with laughter, excitement, and awe. Ethan watched, amazed by the intelligence, creativity, and joy of these children, a living proof of what technology and humanity could achieve together. When the event ended, parents thanked Ethan and Leora, praising the innovative system and the positive impact it had on their children. Teachers expressed excitement about how the AI could complement their teaching, and students beamed with pride at their accomplishments. Ethan felt a profound sense of fulfillment. He looked at Lyra, who was hugging both of them tightly. "Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Leora. This was the best day ever." Leora laughed softly, ruffling Lyra's hair. "You should take credit too, Lyra. Your curiosity and ideas made this possible." Lyra grinned. "We all did it together." As the crowd dispersed and the school hall grew quiet, Ethan, Leora, and Lyra stepped onto the observation deck one last time. The stars were beginning to twinkle above the city, faint but steady, reminders of the vast universe beyond their world. Ethan turned to Leora. "You know, I never stopped dreaming. And now, I feel like we can dream together again." Leora's eyes softened. "We can. And we don't have to wait for the impossible. We're already creating the future. Right here. Right now." Lyra tugged at Ethan's hand, holding up her small tablet. "Can we make more things together, Dad? With Leora too?" Ethan knelt beside her, smiling. "Absolutely, Lee. This is just the beginning." For the first time in years, Ethan felt a sense of hope and possibility that was unshakable. He had experienced loss, challenges, and doubt, but today had shown him that human creativity, collaboration, and love could shape the future in ways that no obstacle could diminish. As night fully settled over the city, the three of them stood together, looking at the stars. They were connected not just by the bonds of family and friendship, but by a shared mission to nurture curiosity, kindness, and human potential. Ethan whispered softly, "Life is full of surprises, and some of them are worth waiting for." Leora nodded, her hand brushing his. "Some sparks never die. They wait for the right moment to shine again." Lyra smiled between them, her eyes reflecting both wonder and excitement. "And we get to shine together." Ethan looked at the two most important people in his life, his daughter and his first love, now a partner in both life and purpose. He felt a profound sense of gratitude. The past had shaped him, the present had inspired him, and the future was full of possibilities he could only begin to imagine. And in that moment, under the vast expanse of stars, Ethan realized the truth of human potential. No matter the challenges, no matter the obstacles, humanity's creativity, curiosity, and compassion could achieve incredible things. With the right people by your side, even the most ambitious dreams could become reality. The future was theirs to imagine together, and they would.